All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of All the Vibes. Truly do appreciate everybody's first support on the first podcast episode. By the way, not something that I really started to promote on social media. I wanted to get a little bit more traction, so I'm glad that we've got another episode here for you today. And if you want to find this podcast, please go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I think we're getting more traction as far as the distribution of where the podcast is going to be showing up um, in the future. I think iHeartRadio, maybe possibly. I'll have to double check on that, but we might be up on there as well. I, this today. What I'm talking about is something that I feel like I kind of probably sound like a broken record. But when creating content and just being a content creator on social media, especially when you're not doing it to build a business, I think that's pretty difficult because people, like back in 2020, and I think this is probably the story for a lot of people. When 2020 hit and the pandemic hit and it was, everybody was staying home, everybody was doing their thing. They were inside. They found this thing called TikTok and started scrolling through stuff. And then the next thing you know, they tried to maybe create a couple of videos, and those videos really started to, kind of they kicked off really, really well. And then they got more into it as time went on. And then next thing you know, they started doing a lot of this for fun, and they made it like almost like a full-time job. Um, Made it like a full-time job on top of their full-time job that they already have. Or people were starting to do all of this stuff, and it created opportunities for them that they never thought were possible. But the thing is that I think that when we're talking about social media, we really, really need to divide. We need to divide the types of creators that are out there in the world. I think we need to not necessarily divide them in a way where they can't ever collaborate with each other, but I really do think that there are different types of, probably two different types of creators, okay? And both of them have somewhat similar goals, but I think one in the sense focuses more on brands, building their business, creating content that is going to generate sales for whatever brands they're working for, okay? But then you have the other types of creators who can just, they create anything that that their mind gives them, whether it's comedy, whether it's motivation, whether it's little hacks or tips and tutorials and stuff like that. I mean, look, I think we can all agree, right, that there are people out there who have generated a huge opportunity for themselves to have a really great audience, to build a super awesome community around them. And I'm going to go ahead and bring up somebody actually that probably a lot of you know, okay, or have seen from time to time. This guy who's out in the woods, his name is Thorin Bradley. The guy is not, I don't want to say this. He's not just chopping wood, okay? He is doing something that he loves, and he is sharing that with the world, and he continues to put out his message in the most authentic way possible. And that's what he does. That's what makes him stand out from a lot of different people, right? And I don't necessarily know if he's doing a lot to promote businesses. I know that he also has a fitness app because he's a personal trainer. But he is doing something that is so incredibly different and so authentic. But his focus, because I've seen him on his live streams before, I've seen him in his videos. His main focus is not to make money. That's not his main focus. He wants to help people. Like that is his main thing. But there's different ways that other people can help as well. Some people just like to make comedy videos, and they want to help people laugh, and they want to help people smile, or they create these awesome skits that are they're hilarious, or they are so incredibly relatable that they just get so much traction, and and a community gets built, and it's just a beautiful thing to watch, right? I really, really do believe that, again, there are two different types of creators. There are ones that focus more on the business side of things and ones who are just out here to have fun. And I'm not saying the business people are not out to have fun either, but it's just different. And I have a feeling that there are maybe a few people that I know who could relate to this in some way. But what I want to really encourage people to do is be the creator that you want to be. Be the creator that you want to be. All right. Don't listen to what an algorithm tells you. Don't listen to what social media experts are telling you. I will tell you this more often than not, and I want to point this out. If there are social media experts, social media managers who are out there, more than likely they are out here to help businesses make money and to build communities and to help those businesses build communities and everything. But there are others who are not they're not out here. They're not out here for that. They're out here to maybe be a public figure, to um, just to be a video creator. They just want to create anything. They want to create anything because that's where their mind is. That's where their mind takes them. And it's just I think I think in a way I'm probably not exactly explaining this very well because here's another thing. If you're not out here to build a business or to try and make money or something of that nature, you're almost forgotten. Like, and I'm and people are probably going to take that the wrong way, or they might have something to say about it, which is fine. I don't really care. It's okay. You can look anything that I'm saying on this podcast right now. You can disagree with. That's completely fine. This is just how I feel about it because I am one of those people. I am one of those people who just creates content because I love to do it. I don't care. I don't care if you know. I don't care if a brand sees it and they're just like, oh man, we really want to use this and we want to make and we want to help. You know, I've gotten emails from brands before, and to tell you the truth, I'm always really afraid of that because I don't want to work. I don't necessarily want to work for anybody. I don't want to, you know, unless there's like a really mutually like a big amount of mutual respect between myself and the brand, or if it's something that I truly love and I truly love using in my everyday life, you know, I don't have a problem with like promoting it and say, hey, cool, this is what it is, and maybe we could do a collaboration at some point. But I've always heard that there are so many specifics and so many rules and so many different. It's almost like a contract, and you're just like, man, that just takes the fun out of it. It takes the fun out of it. I don't know. Maybe if somebody could find me a fun way to do business, then maybe I'll be more interested. But this is just how I'm feeling about it now. But I want to get back to be the creator that you want to be. I've had a conversation with my friend Cassie, and you guys would probably a lot of the people that I know mutually who are probably listening to this episode right now, they know who Cassie is. And look, she is like she's awesome. All right, like her, Mr. Clarkafella. You've got Mama AD 2009. You got Martin, Martin SYT. I think that's what his username is. You've got like Leonard Burns. You've got like Russell, like the UPS guy. The dude is just like all these people are just super authentic and they're doing things in their own way, and it's really really cool. And that's why those are the kind of people that I am always willing to support. But and I've had this discussion with my friend Derek, who Mr. Clarkafella. A lot of you know him as well, but I've had to talk with him. I've had this talk with Cassie Bessett. Um, she like she always tells me like, look, I know that there are a lot of, and I'm just paraphrasing here, but she's like, I know that there are a lot of people who, you know, will create a certain video, and then all of a sudden they're following, like, not, I don't want to call it the following God. I really have to stop that. That's just, I just feel like that's such a negative. I feel like that's just a negative thing. It's such a negative thing. But the amount of people that start supporting your page increases because of one video, right? You can make a choice. You can either make more videos like that and really start to kind of like narrow down your focus so that you continue to attract or increase the amount of people that are going to follow your page, because of that one video and the type of video it is, or you can just create what you want to create because that's what you're feeling and that's what makes you happy and that's what you want to do. And she made a really, really good point too. It was almost just like she wasn't saying like I don't care about the people that are following my page. I don't care about people in general, but you can't worry about what people are you can't worry about what people are going to think, you know, if they go ahead and they support your page and next thing you know, you've got somebody new, but they were only interested because of that one video. You can't really be worried about that. You can't don't worry about that. Just continue to create whatever it is that you want to create. My page is all over the place, and I will always, always be all over the place when it comes to my content because I am not one thing. I'm not one thing. I'm not one, there's no there's no one type of video that you're gonna see on my page. Okay, that's why I've got like a bunch of different playlists that are on my TikTok page, and because that's it's all of me. It's all of me that makes me authentically me. And I'm never going to stop doing that. And if that means that there's an algorithm or some type of system on a social media platform that is not going to push me out because of the fact that I don't have one type of thing that I do, that's fine. I don't really care. I used to care. I used to care a lot. I used to care about it a lot. And I used to say, man, you know what? This is really discouraging. Like I started playing the comparison game. That was, of course, the thief of my joy. Like, and I'm just always sitting there and I'm like, no, 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 no. Like this was years ago, by the way, like back in probably 2020, 2021. And I was just like, man, why am I worried about that? Why? It makes absolutely no sense because your page is your page. It's nobody else's. Okay. Nobody else's. By the way, if you're a business creator or if like you're a creator who tries to help people make money and all this other stuff, if you don't if you don't find this episode appealing or if you don't find it helpful, well, that's absolutely fine because I didn't create it for you. I created it for the people that are incredibly discouraged because all they want to do is just start making content. They just want to start making content, but they don't start because they either see that everything is oversaturated, which by the way, it's not really, okay? It's not really oversaturated, even though it might feel that way. But the problem is too, is that people will like, people will sit there and they'll say like, okay, like, what do I do? Like, I don't even know, like, I don't even know where to start. And you're just like, well, what makes you happy? What makes you happy? You know, what do you like to do? What do you like to do on your free time? Like, what do you find? Like, is there something that happened in your life that you thought was really funny and maybe you'd want to share it because people would find that really relatable? Obviously, that's your private life. You don't have to share. I'm not saying share everything about your private life. Like, keep your privacy, keep it. Okay. You've got people who are telling stories. People who are talking in front of mirrors and they're telling stories about things that happened to them in their life and how they thought it was funny and like people could definitely relate. And the next thing you know, they develop this awesome community and then they get to find out more about that creator and then they fall in love with that creator even more than they did before. So be the creator that you want to be, not the one that everybody else wants or what you feel an algorithm needs. Don't do that to yourself. It's just, it's going to take you down a rabbit hole of just sheer sadness, depression, discouraging thoughts, discouragement either way. I don't even know if that's a word. I've really started to do, God, I've been starting to do that lately where in my head, I feel like maybe I just made up a word right there. Don't quote me on that. But I'm the one who's saying this, right? So it's like, okay, well, it's all right. Like Jimmy, has this happened to you? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. This has happened to me. Like I'm still working on things to keep myself grounded as a creator. Okay. I'm doing the best that I can to be as authentic as I possibly can. Doing the best that I possibly can. Like, probably just, I know I've just sounded like super repetitive, but I am doing my best because social media at the end of the day, you got to be careful. Have to be careful with how fake people really can be. and what they want to do to just generate clicks, or they put up this act to attract people to their page, and then the next thing you know, true colors come out. One way or another, you know what's going to happen. True colors come out, and they're not who you thought they were, or they're not who they said they were, and that becomes incredibly disappointing. Don't do that. Not everybody on social media is going to be for you. I am not for everybody, okay? And I don't care. I'm at a point in my life where I want peace. I want peace. I want people around me that appreciate my energy. I want people around me that appreciate that I'm maybe not having that great of a day, but I'm still working through it, and they still love me because they know what a beautiful human being I really am. I don't even care if that just sounded cocky. You can take that however you want. I really don't care. But what I have to really stop doing is what my friend Cassie and I talked about. Stop the people pleasing. Create what you want. And that is a form of people pleasing, by the way. When you sit there and you go, like, it's because I have to create this because this is what this is what I feel like people would want. No, not really. Like, that's not what people, who cares if that's what people want? Okay? If they're either going to like the content or they're not. You can't cater that to what you feel other people might want or need. It's not going to help you. Not going to help you grow as a creator. It's not going to help you it's not going to help you heal while you're growing as a creator too, because there's a lot of people who are on their healing journeys while they're creating content. More often than not. Another thing is, don't worry about the algorithm. Algorithm's never going to change. And I know it changes, but it's never actually going to change in the sense that, okay? In the sense that it's always going to be updated, I guess you could say, to where it's pushing certain things out, or it's not, or there's certain classification categories of videos, like how long videos are. It's going to go back and forth all the time. Nothing is ever going to change that. So you can try all day long to change up the way that you make your content to please the algorithm, but that's never going to work. It's just not. And I don't really know what else to say about it. It's just not going to happen. Another thing is, you have to make sure that you are interacting with the right people. Interact with the right people, man. Like, that is so incredibly, incredibly big. Okay? Surround yourself with people who care. Surround yourself with people who want to support your goals and who want to uplift you on the days that you're not doing so great. And yet you could still sit there and count on them and be like, you know what? It's going to be all right. Maybe we didn't create what we wanted to today. But you could talk to somebody about it, somebody who's a really good friend of yours, somebody who has the same goals as yours as well. It's one of those things that you just got to make sure that you surround yourself with the right people. You don't have to do it alone. Seriously, it doesn't have to be done alone. Like, you can collab with people. I create collaborations with Mr. Clarkafella all the time. That's some of the best content. I love that stuff, man. And he's been one of my best friends ever since I started the social media journey back in 2020, 2021. I mean, he's absolutely phenomenal. Like, I don't even know. Again, it's people that, it's your people. You're going to find them at some point. You just got to keep being you. That's the most important thing. So I want to do 3 random questions again, because this is something that I like to do, so far. Like, I like to do 3 random questions from, again, this thing called Pod Deck. It's a cool deck of cards. It can be any kind of different thing. It could be episode ideas. That's one deck. These are interview questions, and I love the interview deck. I think it's really cool. There are a lot of really great questions. They're really clean. They're appropriate. They're fun. Again, I've got some guests that I'm talking to, and I'm going to get them lined up and stuff, and we're going to go ahead and, we'll do that with them as well. So, question number 1. What's the main thing on your bucket list? It's gonna be really sad. No, it's not sad at all, actually. I don't really have a bucket list, I guess. Like, I think because I'm so afraid of, of trying to predict the future or to, try and, I don't know, try to plan too far ahead, that I don't necessarily have a bucket list. I kinda just take things day by day. It's really cool to sometimes think about certain things, um, but I guess one thing if we really were to say that, like, one thing that's on my bucket list would be to go to a North Carolina Duke basketball game. Ooh, at North Carolina, like that would be fantastic. I would love to do that. I'm a sports guy. And a lot of the times I don't really put the sports stuff on my page. I do some sports comedy every now and then, but you all right, so we'll go on to the next one. If you or your partner were pregnant, where would be the worst place to go into labor? Restaurant. Restaurant. I don't know why. That would just stress me out so badly. Oh my God. I don't know why. That would just be absolutely crazy. And I already witnessed 2 births, okay? I witnessed 2 baby boys being born that are my sons, and I'm so thankful for that every single day. I talked about that in the last episode that I had. My God, absolutely incredible. Last one. If you could make one of your hobbies into a profession, which one would it be? Well, creating content that's helping people laugh, smile, be motivated, all that good stuff. Seriously. I mean, guys, listen, that's be the creator that you want to be. All right. Surround yourself with good people. Be yourself. I know that's probably, you hear that around all the time, but seriously, be yourself. Everybody else is taken. Okay. And if you're trying to be like everyone else, trust me, that's probably pretty boring. Okay. Because you are you, and that's all that matters. So I want to go ahead and end today with a motivational quote. I don't know if it has to be a quote necessarily, but it's something that I actually read, and I'm gonna go ahead and find it. I want to go ahead and find it for you guys here, and I think I just remembered it. Sometimes happiness do. Wait, let's try it. Yeah. Yep. I'm sorry. I had to think about it. Sometimes happiness really does come from helping others. And that's not to say that you shouldn't take care of yourself. But man, I'm telling you, the people that are working on themselves to try and better themselves, and at the same time, they're able to make others happy with whatever they're doing, whether it's content, being a good friend, being a good person, good mom or dad, son, daughter, whatever it is. Okay. If they're working on that stuff and they're still able to make others happy, I got to tell you, that is one hell of a human being. Don't ever let them go. This has been All the Vibes. I really do appreciate your time today. If you want to find me on any of my social media platforms, you can search at Jimmy Musial, no spaces, JIMMYMUSIAL. No C in there. Don't try to do the musical thing. I know some of you probably are. But you can find me on TikTok at Jimmy Musial, and the same on Instagram. I post a lot of the videos that I do on TikTok to Instagram as well. And again, for the podcast, it's available. All the Vibes is available on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts. I believe we're still getting into iHeartRadio and all that jazz. But truly do appreciate your time today. Again, just be yourself. That's all you can do. Have a good day.